Okay, we are on the air. This is Chris and...
This is Rob.
Yes, and this is two guys watching porns and discussing daily events. All the important issues that are going on in the world of entertainment, news, sports. Well, not sports, because sports sucks. I hate sports, don't you?
Yeah, sports.
Fuck sports, man. There's nothing more that I hate more than fucking sports. Like the Olympics and the shit like that when they interrupt TV for like weeks on end and you have to hear every fucking story about like this gymnast came from a small village in Croatia. Her mother was raped in front of her. Her father was forced to make bricks out of human feces. And there's nothing I hate more than those shitty stories. And then the person goes around and they do all kinds of gymnastics that a fucking Jedi couldn't do it. And some asshole critic goes, I'll give it an 8.5.
Yeah, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? Anyway, let's get off that fucking topic.
Yeah, but...
something more important, you know?
But the idea of this show is that we're going to get together, watching quality porn, and discussing what's going on in the world, because that's what people are concerned about. So, today is our first run. It's our first episode. And we're watching one of, not necessarily my favorites. How would you describe Gage?
Well, she's not bad. I mean, she's pretty enthusiastic about what she does.
Yeah, I mean, I like her. She's got a look a little like a 10-year-old, though, don't you find?
Yeah, I think it's kind of... Yeah, she kind of looks like a little kid, but
she's a real trooper. I mean, if you're not familiar, look her up. Gage, Gauge. She was big a few years ago. I don't even know if she's current. She's probably like early 2000s at the best.
I would think so, yeah.
Oh, and now it's gone to Reality Kings. Now, they make a little higher quality production.
Yep.
They usually... good 45-minute video here, so it's going to keep us entertained a long time.
I will discuss our topic, but what are we going to discuss today, you know?
I don't know what's going on in the world.
Well, you know, you got that Travon Martin thing. We definitely different views on that and how we feel about that, you know?
Do we really? Okay, so what do we know about Travon Martin? Trayvon Martin, well, I should say for the audience, Travon Martin is a young man who was shot coming home from a grocery store with a bottle of Snapple. They like to make a big deal about what he was buying, Snapple and some Skittles. I don't know anyone on earth who ever bought Skittles. But that's besides the point. And he was shot by a neighborhood watch person?
Yeah, George Zimmerman.
They're
describing as a white Hispanic, which technically is wrong. He's actually Hispanic.
I believe he's from Peru, actually, of Peruvian descent. I don't know where the Jewish last name comes in. It's a little peculiar.
No.
Although there were a lot of Nazis who relocated to Peru, so maybe that's part of it. And he apparently pursued this young man as part of a neighborhood watch and shot him, claiming self-defense after an altercation between the young man. Now, this is part of Florida's right to, what do they call that?
The Stand Your Ground Law.
Stand Your Ground Law.
You see, I did some research. I did a little looking it up. I listened to the 911 tapes. And from what you can hear on the 911 tapes, first off, they say there's a racial slur there. I don't hear it. And I listened to it with headphones on in a quiet room so I could actually really listen real closely.
Okay.
I didn't hear any racial slur said by George Zimmerman. Apparently, also, they had numerous break-ins in this neighborhood. And he wasn't visiting his father. He was visiting his father's fiancée, who has not come out and said anything, which is kind of suspicious to me, kind of fishy to me. He had no reason to be in that neighborhood. His father doesn't even live in that neighborhood.
I don't know that he had no reason to be in the neighborhood, though, because from my understanding, he was staying with his father at the fiancé's house, and they were watching a basketball game, and during a break in the game, he had left the house to go to the local 7-Eleven to get a drink and some Skittles. So he did have a reason to.
But it was 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. It was raining. I mean, who's going to go out in the rain at 7, 8 o'clock at night? Unless they're up to no good. Come on. We've got to think, he's in a gated community. He's a little common sense. The kid was also suspended from school for 10 days for drug possession.
Yeah, but...
He had no respect for anybody, you know?
Well, I don't know that we can make that claim. There's a lot of kids who do drugs and get in trouble for drugs. It doesn't mean they don't have any respect for anybody. And, I would disagree with the idea that he didn't have a reason. I mean, kids do strange things. They go out in the rain, they walk around. They just want to get out of the house, maybe. But I think the key issue for me, the thing that I find most disturbing, is that the man continued to pursue this child even though the police had told him by 911 not to.
Actually, he stopped.
Follow.
He actually stopped when the cops told him, "No, we don't need to pursue him." He said, "Okay," and he stopped. And you heard him on the tapes. The wind noise goes away, and he's just standing there, giving the cops his information, telling them to give me a call when you get here, and I'll take you to where I last saw.
Wait 1 second. I'm sorry. Did you see this girl's ass?
Nice though. I mean, she's a nice looking young lady, cute as hell.
I've never seen this girl before.
Yeah.
She's got her teeth are a little wonky, but I definitely like the hot pants and
the yoga
but
pants.
Getting back, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Well, he stopped. He didn't pursue him, and then this kid attacked him.
Well, I mean, what's your basis for saying he attacked him, though?
You hear the other 911 calls from other people around. You hear screaming, and you hear screaming for help on the other tapes. And it's obviously George Zimmerman screaming. It's a man's voice. It's not a kid's voice. It's a man's voice. It's a grown man's voice.
Is it obvious that it's his, though?
Yeah, because you can hear him on the original tape when he calls, and then if you compare him closely to the other tapes to it, it's the same voice.
I just know that according to the witnesses. Now, granted, the only witness who actually claims to have seen. Whoa, yeah, look at that. Oh my God! You at home are missing. This girl just has an exceptionally fine booty. Now, and she's showing her thong, which is good. Like, I love the invention of the thong. It's almost just like a gift wrapping it, like around. It's like a bow, like on the present that is her butt.
Too,
oh yeah. But again, poor Travon Martin's dead, so I forget what I was even saying. There is some debate about who is screaming. I don't necessarily concede the point that it was George Zimmerman. I mean, it could very well have been. But the only eyewitness, from my understanding, who claims to have actually seen the incident supports George Zimmerman's story that he was attacked. Because at one point, he said he claimed to have seen Travon Martin on top of George Zimmerman. There's a couple of other neighbors in the area who have said they thought the screaming was the young man. But they also have conceded that they didn't actually see the incident that occurred. But still, we're talking about a man who, George Zimmerman, I believe they said he was about 250 pounds, and here's a guy who's 150 pounds.
But you never can tell. I mean, you got to look at the fact. I've seen kids, people 100 pounds kick somebody who's 200 pounds his ass. So you never know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But it does seem that he could have. He didn't have to escalate the situation to it. Because I could understand someone's following you around, and you're a little nervous about what's going on. The phone call with his girlfriend, supposedly, she's telling him to run because he was telling her that some guy was following him.
That's the other thing, though. He ran. He was acting suspicious. He was looking at all the houses, looking around, acting kind of suspicious. They had numerous break-ins in the neighborhood. The kid was dressed in a gray, dark hoodie and blue jeans and white shoes.
Which is a common, though, fashion among young men.
Yeah, it's the common fashion among young black men. Let's specify it.
I don't know if it's only specifically black. It's probably an urban thing.
But he looked suspicious to this guy.
To this guy who...
And to some other people in the neighborhood, because this is not the only... George Zimmerman's not the only guy who said something about this kid. There was other complaints about this kid in the neighborhood prior to this.
Now, you have to also... I have to think, because I lived in a gated community for a while, they're not necessarily the most... comfortable with anyone who looks like an outsider. So what they might consider suspicious, I have to think, could possibly not necessarily be suspicious except for the fact that he was a young black man. I mean, George Zimmerman has a history of warning people to keep an eye out for young black men in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm not saying George Zimmerman was totally in the right. He obviously did make some things and do some things that were wrong. He shouldn't have followed the kid, obviously. He should have dialed 911, got a very good description, given him a very good description, which he did. And then he should have stayed where he was at in his vehicle and give the police an idea of where this kid had headed. That's what he should have done.
Yeah,
but the other aspect is you also have to look at the fact that this kid was out at 7, 8 o'clock at night, in the rain, acting kind of suspicious. he didn't necessarily look like he belonged in the neighborhood. They had
because
numerous
he was black.
No, because this is a mixed community, so that the black factor doesn't come into it. Okay, he didn't necessarily look like he belonged in the neighborhood. He was acting a little fishy. Zimmerman thought he was either on drugs or something was going on with the kid. And Travon Martin did reach into his waistband. Was doing suspicious things like reaching towards his waistband and had stuff in his hand that the guy couldn't identify. You gotta wonder what truly happened. Only George Zimmerman and Travon, unfortunately Travon Martin's dead, but only they two really, really know what happened between them.
Now, I couldn't say, like, the idea that the child's reaching for his belt. We all know that a lot of the thing about black fashion or urban youth fashion is the pants that keep falling down. So could it be that he's just adjusting his pants? I mean, I could see many reasons why the man would be adjusting his, reaching for his belt. And also, with Travon Martin, what was I going to say? There are reports that I completely lost my thought. This girl's ass is just amazing. The idea that he said this guy looks like he's on drugs, isn't it possible the young man just is confused about where he might be? Like at the moment he's like, okay, which house was it again? I'm looking around, I don't see the house. I mean, that's a reason why the guy could be...
Yeah, true, but...
I mean, the guy just assumed he was on drugs, and he was assumed that he was out to make trouble. And also, I did hear a tape where his voice was isolated, where you actually hear him use the word coon. I did hear that on the TV.
See, I listened to the whole 911, and I didn't hear it. They say he whispers it, like when he mutters.
Well, he's on the phone, he says something like, okay, freaking coons, or something like that. So I did hear something that, to me at least, sounded very convincing that he was saying something as a slur. Like he had certainly a pre-existing conception of young black men and them being troublemakers. I would posit. One thing though that I found interesting, I don't know if you've heard about this. Travon's mother, who I think is a medical assistant or something, I'm not sure what she does. She has filed for a trademark of the terms "I am Travon" and "Justice for Travon." Now that seems a little odd to me because why would a mother? Why would it even occur to you to trademark a saying like that unless you're just trying to make some coin?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, I was reading one of these bulletin board posting sites. Damn, she's cute.
Oh my God. Oh, she's rubbing her nipples right now. She's so perky.
What was I saying now? Oh, I was reading one of these bulletin board things, and on there was a great saying that some guys put that said, we should have picked our own damn cotton.
Oh, that's horrible.
I found it great.
That's terrible. I mean, that's obviously a racist comment.
That's a racist comment. I mean, that's a blatantly racist comment.
Yeah.
But again, you got to think of it too. They're not letting the racism die. Certain people aren't letting this racism die, you know, and maybe that's part of what led to the unfortunate tragedy that happened. Now, they don't speak about the millions of black kids who are shot by other black kids in Los Angeles.
What does that have to do with this case, though?
But it does, because it's.
I mean, admittedly, there's a media circus around that, and when you hear something like the Black Panthers offering, the new Black Panthers, not even the cooler, older Black Panthers, anytime you put new in front of it, it sucks, like New Monkeys or New Coke.
New Pepsi that's come out.
But the new Black Panthers putting out a bounty for George Zimmerman of I've heard different figures. Sometimes it's $10,000, sometimes it's $1 million for his capture. I mean, who's supposed to be capturing? You don't pay the police for arresting a man. So they're obviously basically suggesting that people should go out and just be vigilantes against this. And Spike Lee, you've heard about Spike Lee,
yeah,
right?
He got some family up in that area who now getting hate mail and
because he tweeted their address claiming it was George Zimmerman's.
But they have a son named. Their last name is Zimmerman. They do have a son named George, so it is a George Zimmerman, but it's not the George Zimmerman who is involved with the Trayvon Martin. We need to make that clear.
Oh yeah, and also even if it was George Zimmerman, what on earth is he doing? Broadcasting the guy's home address, if not to say, hey, here's the guy, go get him.
She can suck a mean dick.
Oh my God. She is definitely...
just describe her. She kind of looks like the girl next door kind of look to her. Nice,
I don't know.
shortish red hair.
Girls who live next door to me don't look anything like this girl.
She's that girl in high school that you saw that you wanted, that you had a crush on kind of look.
Do you think she's in high school, this girl?
Nah, I think she's probably...
She looks like she's like 25 at least.
Yeah, but still, I mean, to describe her, she's that kind of girl. She's like the girl next door kind of average look. Anyway, we're digressing. We're getting involved in the video.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, regardless of what happened, it certainly needs to be investigated. They really haven't. I think they were a little too quick to just declare this guy within his rights to shoot the man. Well, I don't know if they even declared that, but I think they need to take their time, investigate it. I think other people need to step back and say, hey, you know, we don't want to fan this flame, because what's it going to solve? It's only breeding hatred for people.
Exactly. I mean, that's what needs to happen. The family needs to step back, take a breather. Everybody just needs to step back, relax, take a breather.
Oh my God!
I mean, we're not talking about that.
It's a nice point of view shot.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, look at her.
Let me use this as an analogy. I don't know if this is an intelligent analogy, but my mattress on my bed, it's pretty old. It's like the kind of thing you'd see in like a 1970s porno that they're fucking on, no sheet or anything. And there's a hole in the mattress. There's a slit about 4 or 5 inches wide. When I was 12 years old, I might have tried to fuck that thing, because it's a big hole in my mattress that kind of resembles like the shape of a vagina.
Okay.
Knowing what I know now, though, sticking my finger in there, it's all wires and barbed, sharp things. If I stuck my dick in there, it would be filleted within seconds. So my argument is, just because something looks like a pussy doesn't mean it's a pussy. Does that make sense in this situation?
Yeah, I understand. You're trying to say that just because Travon looked like he was up to no good, he was a little punk and up to no good and a hood rat, doesn't necessarily make him a hood rat or a little punk up to no good.
And just because this guy looks like a racist who shot a kid, doesn't mean that's necessarily exactly what happened.
What he is. It's not like he's not like he's a Ku Klux Klan member who's obviously a racist. I mean, we know what the Klans did in the future. We don't have to go into that. But it's not like that, or it's not like somebody beating a queer or a homosexual's head in.
I love how you corrected yourself.
I caught myself, I had to correct it. But it's not like somebody beating a homosexual's head in and calling him, queer, fag. Yeah. Those terms that are not deemed politically correct.
Or they're just plain out insulting.
It's not, or a guy raping a woman and calling her a slut and a bitch and all these other names while he's doing it. Those are hate crimes. But technically, you can't really have a hate crime because crime is crime.
Yeah, I'm against the idea of hate crimes being separately punishable. The idea that murdering someone is a crime. Murdering someone because they're there is a crime. I don't see why it's worse to murder someone because they're Chinese, or murdering someone because they're an Eskimo. Why that makes it worse of a crime?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why it's worse either. It's like,
if you got shot and your buddy who was an Eskimo got shot, and it turned out the guy hated Eskimos, I wouldn't see why they would charge him more for your buddy being shot than for you, because you both would be equal value. Exactly. Basically what I'm saying is you're no better than a filthy fucking Eskimo. So,
basically, yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
My apologies to the Inuit communities and all of the indigenous people of the North American continent.
We're just using you as an example.
We don't
dislike you.
I can't even say it. I hate them. I hate the Eskimos living in their little ice huts, eating whale blubber, giving us Bjork music. I just don't like them.
Now somebody hears that, they're going to say you're a racist. And
in that sense, I am a racist.
And if you ever do a crime against an Eskimo,
it would be a hate crime.
It'd be a hate crime. That's like if you ever do a crime against a Hispanic and you call them a spick or that, you're immediately assumed to be racist.
I want to make an Eskimo porno and call it Eskimo Pie.
I think there's probably one. I wouldn't be surprised if there was one.
I don't know if there's anyone's cornered the Eskimo porno market. Oh, now there's the obligatory cunnilingus scene. Now, why do they bother with this? Like, do you ever not just fast forward or zone out during this?
I always fast forward and zone out through this. I mean, it's more fun to do than it is to watch.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of the act itself, but as far as watching it, it just throws. I don't want to see this man's tongue and drooling and I mean, although she does seem to be into it. Like usually they sit there kind of like the body of the Ayatollah Khomeini lying in wait,
or a corpse or like a dead fish or something. It's like they don't respond. Yeah. But she's actually seems to be enjoying it.
Yeah, she actually has some movement that suggests genuine, actual physical pleasure.
Again, we digress to the porn.
We've gone heavy on the Trayvon Martin case.
This is going to happen occasionally. We're going to get sidetracked by what we're watching.
In fact, I'm amazed we were able to talk as long as we were about Trayvon Martin. I think it's a testament to Brazzers' quality build-up that they didn't immediately just throw us into the action where we would have just been like blubbering fools, stuttering and watching. That they actually took the time to kind of build up a story that we could ignore completely while we talked about other things.
Yeah, I think that might be a good thing to say for Brazzers.
So Brazzers, subscribe to their site, Quality Porn. Not terribly expensive, and you get your money's worth, I think.
Yeah, and you get multiple sites when you subscribe, don't you?
Oh yes, you get like tons of material.
I mean, it's like at least I know it's at least 20 sites that you get access to that I know of.
Well, actually, I think this is probably a good cutoff point. Yeah. I should probably say this was our inaugural issue of two guys watching porn and talking about daily events and issues that affect all of us. Please, anyone out there who might happen to listen to this, if you want to comment, contact us at screamingmindtheater@yahoo.com. That's SCREAMINGMINETHEATER @yahoo.com. Let us know that you're listening. And any final words?
No, this is Rob, signing off.
This is Chris, and Godspeed, John Glenn.